Alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakodash, double honor unto the apostles and elders of great millstone, peace and salutation unto the 144,000. But I can lay out a quick lesson again. This one will be based off another dream, right? And I mean, a lot of people have been getting tsunami dreams as of lately. You know, my wife included, and this is probably about a third or fourth one. But what makes this one, you know, more, I'll say a bit more interesting in terms of how it happened, is the fact that, and as you can tell by the scripture in verse 3 especially, you know, that it just suddenly appeared. Now, as I was saying this, I just vaguely remembered a clip that I saw on TikTok a few times, right? Where there was people at the docks and stuff. I don't know, I feel like I mentioned this in one of my videos before, right? Where there was people at the docks, you know, like those at the beach just chilling, whatever. And then how the scene is like everybody just looking up on it, they're in amazement because it's like, what the actual fuck, you know? And there's like they're showing all the people on the beach, the docks, the everywhere, right? And then when they show us at the ending of the clip now is this big ass tsunami coming, you know? Shalom, Mark. Right. Yeah, so it's like you see all these people by the docks and stuff, you know, they're in amazement because of that big tsunami coming. Now, my wife was telling me that, you know, she was basically in her hometown, whatever it is, and she was just there, and it's like 1 minute everything normal, and the next minute it's just, you just see this big ass tsunami coming, right? And instantly that's why this precept came to my head. So let me read it, and probably I'll just dabble in the dream a little more. So I'll start from verse 1 in 1 Thessalonians 5. It says, "But of the times and season, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." Right? 144:7 on your part. And you see, as we've been saying this, you know, there's different scriptures that goes on this as well, where the Lord mentions this, you know, that he don't need to write unto us because why? He already laid the blueprint. You know, him as well as other prophets before, you know, already laid the blueprint, you know, so that in that way we have all the answers and the guidance that we need from the book. So we just have to go to the scriptures, right? The prophets tell us the past, present, and the future, you know. So we have the way of life in our hands right now. That's why we're not walking around like headless chicken, and people call us mad because in their mind, to put it simply, they don't believe in you know, they don't believe people to see the future. Alright, so Salakia. I have some rain here, just continuing the video. I'd like to read from verse 2 and continue. Right, so this is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 2. It says, "For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." And as we just always break it down, you know, in simple terms, you know, you don't know when a thief coming. So the mere fact that the Lord said that he coming as how a thief is coming in night, unannounced. Remember the scriptures talk about no man will do it day and the time or the hour. God, but this man just come and wet down my freaking shoes, yes? Anyway, yeah, no man know the time and the hour and whatnot when the Lord come in, you know. So given that fact, that is why the Lord could use that statement, right? Because the thing about it is when a thief, if you was to know somebody coming to steal from you or something, you're gonna make preparations, right? And we, for damn well sure, we know Jake would do that, you know? You know they would do that, so it's just a matter, I'll say this way, a matter of fact, you know, is that I would say that is the main reason why the Lord didn't tell Jake nothing, you know, because if we know what time the Lord was coming, best believe Men would have said right up until the last day and believe strongly in the mind that it would have been enough. You know? It would be enough to escape the judgment of the Lord. Yeah, that breeze coming in strong, boy. Blood clot. What that rain coming in so, boy? But I did tell you to set your umbrella now. But everything is happening for a reason. But right now, I don't want to get sick at all. But very good. So like yeah. So yeah. So let me just read verse 3. Right? It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right? And guess what? There's the point here that I want to really get at, because in the dream now, remember I mentioned that she said that, 1 minute, everything good and normal, and then the next minute is like, you just see the tsunami come out of nowhere, and really and truly nobody could not even escape. Because where you can go, you already can't, even if you was on to know a tsunami was coming, and they start preparing for it, the only way you gain away from that is if you move far away, right? Like say you take a flight and you go somewhere else, right? Way, boy. Fuck, boy. Now this man come and wet down my whole pants. Shall I climb onto that bitch, boy? That is real fucking madness. Let me see if I can walk up from here. Done what already. Anyway, so like here. Let me see if I can catch back my tree that out here. I don't know how some people will be considerate when rain falling and thing, Them just be speeding. They will see people on the sidewalk and still fucking speed through the water like if you're not seeing, you could wet that person. I feel most of the time some of them just be doing it for spite, yes? Hey, boy. Anyway. Yeah, so you can't escape a tsunami. But think about it this way now. This tsunami that coming here, this destruction that is all going to set here, you can't go away. Right? You can't outrun this, you can't outfly this. So like yeah, you can't outfly this, you can't do nothing. The only way is up, right? And even if you still go up, it had to be in the chariot. Because Esau now going to try to escape it by going up, right? As the scriptures talk about, or going deep under the ground, or even under the sea, right? To escape it, right? But the Lord talk about that. The Lord say you go stretch out your hands and pull them down, right? Dig them out from under the earth, etc. Roughly paraphrasing. But I just go to show that Esau on a way to hide, and he had all the technology, and he was given into his hands, So he had all the means to try and escape it, and he still wouldn't be able to. Yeah, he saw all the means and he still wouldn't be able to escape the hands of the Lord. So much less for us, when I say us, talking about the nation of Israel, more or less the wicked ones, right? So we need our Bashimesha regardless to get us out of the situation. But we had to please him. You understand? I also have this next one. Because something that she mentioned, right? Oh gosh. That's why I wish I could have do the whole video together. I don't like doing it in parts because I forget certain things that I want to speak about. But I know for sure there's a good reason why I pull this precept. The Romans 13 and 11. Because I know she mentioned something pertaining to the Lord showing she has a wake up call and stuff like that. But I felt like it was something deeper. Maybe hopefully when I read it, it might come back to me. So let me read it, right? It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe. Right? It says, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envy, but put ye on the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Right? And I think it had something pertaining to do specifically the part where it say, now our salvation is nearer than we believe. Right? I think it was pertaining to the same part where she was talking about the tsunami just pop up. Because it's like, I know I told her, it comes back to me a little bit piece by piece. I told her that the fact that you see the tsunami just pop out of nowhere and it just looking to cover everybody, right? She mentioned something pertaining to along the lines of saying that, the thought it was good all the time, like the people now, because she had people around her, but she didn't know who it was, right? She don't know them at all. Like they were saying the thing that was good or something like that, and then it just pop up, right? So that would make me bring the first precept, right? But this one now, she mentioned something that make me say this. Lord boy, I wish I could remember. Yeah, well, she may help me, But one way or the other too, is the mere fact that because you think you have peace and safety right now, because their peace and their safety is not entering into the kingdom, it's things going back to the norm. You understand? And that is what Jake been wanting to do long this while. Right? Their norm is this, living in Esau kingdom, working hard every day, trying to make ends meet, I should say. And all these other ridiculous things. But our norm is back when we first was in the beginning. Right? When we was with Yahushua and the Lord, the Lord had us up there, and we were more or less gods. Right? Remember the Lord say, you are gods, ye are gods. Right? We were once in our first estate, we want to get that again. You understand? Because being under the rulership of Esau Edom is cruelty, it's wickedness. You understand? And the thing about it is, when I say like that, I'm not saying anything in a sense to like charge the Lord, because we understand why the Lord did it. The reason why I say cruelty and wickedness is because this devil is wicked. This devil shows no remorse, and even the Lord said he wrought with him for that. You understand? So Esau didn't care, and up to this day he still don't care about us or how we surviving and all these different things. He only care about himself. Right? So the Lord had to come and free us from it. And in order for that to happen, the prophecies had to be fulfilled. Right? How the Lord write it, or had it written, right? Which is included in a tsunami. That scripture is talking about the islands going to be flooded away in X, Y, and Z. Right? Which are not going to pull. Right? So it's kind of difficult right now to all this rain and stuff. But I know you all know those precepts. There's about 2 precepts. I think one is in Isaiah and the other one in Revelation. Yeah. So I would say that is it for the lesson. It wasn't really meant to be a long one, but at the same time I hope it was edifying. Next time I get to remember exactly the point I wanted to brought out with this precept, but nevertheless, you understand, of it came out. So I hope the lesson was edifying still all together, and also shalom.